Hi, Cheryl again. Welcome to Knit and Crochet with the Gilmore Girl. Thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me. If you're new to this channel, welcome. And if you're a previous viewer, thank you for coming back. So this video is a different kind of video than I usually do. It's not going to be a usual podcast video. What I'm going to do is a knit and crochet along with me. And I've seen a few people do this on their podcast, cross-stitching and knitting and crocheting, where they do their craft and just talk about themselves and about what's important to them. Sorry, still got a bit of a cold. And I thought that'd be kind of fun. And I was kind of bored, so I thought I'd try it. And I don't know if I'm going to upload it, but I thought I'd try it. So grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, a glass of wine, something, and your craft, and whether it be cross-stitching, sewing, knitting, crocheting, whatever, just grab your craft, and we'll have some fun. So I've got a tea in my little wintry glass here, cup, and it is just a orange pekoe tea with honey in it. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm going to be crocheting. So just let me take a sip. Oh, that's hot. Good. That's so good. So, the way we're going to do this is just knit or crochet or stitch or whatever you want to do, and we'll just talk. So, I realize you can't talk back to me, but, well, you can. I just won't be able to hear you. But, yeah, I thought it would be kind of a virtual knit and crochet night type thing. Although it's in the afternoon right now, but, I thought it'd be kind of fun. So, I'm working on this shawl, this crochet shawl. Isn't that pretty? And this is with fingering weight yarn. So I'm doing that. This is the yarn I was going to use for, originally for my Find Your Fave, shawl, but I decided to do it with this one instead. So all it is, and I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me try and move my camera again, see if I can get it so that you can see my stitching. There we go. So I found this pattern on YouTube, and it's a really easy pattern. It's just 3 double crochets in spaces, so it's really quite easy. I am using what size hook am I using? 4mm hook, and again, fingering weight yarn. So, how is everyone doing? So, I haven't talked to a lot of you lately because I've been busy with some stuff, but I realized that in my last video there's been some comments, and I appreciate them about, especially the comments about depression and how you understand and stuff, and I really appreciate that. That was very nice of all of you to say. I will be commenting back to you as soon as I can. I have read them, I just haven't commented back, so, forgive me on that. Cover your mouth, Cheryl, when you cough, sorry. I apologize to myself. Anyways, so I wonder what I'm going to talk about first. Well, first, I saw a few people doing, well, first of all, Ryan and Beverly got engaged. I knew about this a long time ago because he told me that he was going to ask her on the 14th of February, which was Valentine's Day. So I've actually known about it for about a month. And, so on the 15th of November, I texted him and I said, did she say yes? You know, in big capital letters. And he said, yes, she said yes. So I've known about it for quite a while, but they didn't announce it yet. They weren't announcing it until just yesterday they announced it. So I wasn't able to tell anyone, but that's why I was making the blanket for Ryan and Bev, because I knew they were getting married and I knew she would have said yes. So happy for them for the new start and chapter in their life, and I'm excited for them, and I'm waiting to be an auntie. Because any friend who has babies, I'm definitely an auntie, because I know some people don't agree with it. Like my brother's like that. He's like, if you're not blood blood related, you're not really an aunt, but I'm an auntie to my friends' kids, so I can hardly wait to have Ryan and Beverly have a baby. They're not having a baby yet, but someday soon, hopefully, so that'd be nice. And they may be moving to BC as well, so I'm excited about that, because I live in BC and they live in Alberta right now, so in the next few years, they may be moving back to BC, so that's good. And, so yeah, I'm excited for them. Congratulations, Ryan and Bev. I'm so proud, so happy. And, yeah, so I've been knitting that blanket for them. I'm going to Walmart today to buy some more yarn for the blanket that I'm making, because you can buy the yarn at Walmart. So hopefully they'll have some in stock and I can continue knitting my blanket. You know what I did on the blanket though? I thought I'd made a mistake. So what did I do? I unraveled a whole bunch. And then I realized I didn't make a mistake. And yeah, so I have to do that again, but I didn't unravel the whole thing, just part of it, so that's good. But that was kind of frustrating, because I thought I made a mistake and I didn't, so I was like, oh. So, I don't know how you can make mistakes on garter stitch, but I thought I did, so. But, so that's going well, and I'm crocheting this shawl. I started it yesterday, and again, that's what it looks like. And I also started a scarf yesterday, crocheting. I've been crocheting like crazy. I love crochet now these days. I stopped liking it for a while, but I think that was basically because it was hurting my hands. And my hands aren't hurting too bad right now, so I'm just enjoying crocheting and enjoying the time I have to do that. So I've been crocheting a scarf, the shawl, knitting the blanket, and I'm going to be making some more socks, crochet some more socks, because I loved doing that. I loved making the socks. That was just so much fun. If you haven't seen my first pair of socks, I did them, showed them on the last video, episode 17, if you want to look at that. Feel free to look at that. They were my first ever socks, and I'm quite proud of them. They didn't turn out exactly the best, but I'm proud of them. I'm still wearing them. I wore them all day yesterday and all night and all day today, so they're gonna get stinky, but I enjoy wearing them, so I'm gonna make some more of those. And yeah, so and then I found a whole bunch of patterns for crochet socks on Ravelry, so I'm gonna be making a whole bunch of different kinds of socks, hopefully. So I'm excited. I need some more tea. This tea is so good. It's just orange pekoe, but it's got honey in it. It's so good. That must be really interesting watching me drink tea, hey? Oh well. Sorry about that. I still got this stinking cold. I've had it for over 3 weeks now, so hopefully I'll be getting better soon. At least I can talk half decent now, but my ears are plugged, so I'm wondering, usually if I get an ear infection, my ear gets plugged before the infection. And my throat was sore, which an ear infection starts with a sore throat, so I thought, I wonder if I got another ear infection. I get ear infections a lot. I never used to get them when I was little, but I'm getting them like every month or so, every month or two right now as an adult. But with diabetes, you get infections really easily, so that's kind of normal. But yeah, it's not fun. I'm always on antibiotics for the ear infections. Anyways, enough health talk. So I saw on a lot of podcasts them doing a knitting and crocheting tag. And I don't remember the order of the questions, but I remember most of the questions, so I thought I'd do the tag. I don't know who originally started the tag, but it's been going around on YouTube, so So the first question, how long have you been knitting and crocheting? I have been crocheting for about 4 years, and I've been knitting for about 10 months. So I started last year. So, yeah. And the way I started knitting and crocheting, I started crocheting first, obviously. And, what happened was, how did it all start? Okay, well, it started when I was a kid. I was about 12 years old, and I was up at my grandma and grandpa's with my cousin, and we were staying there for a week or two. And my grandma was an avid knitter and crocheter. She loved knitting and crocheting. So she tried. Ruth Ann and I were probably getting on her nerves. So we asked her to teach us how to knit. And my cousin got it really easily. She was knitting within an hour. She was so good at it. Me, no, I struggled. I couldn't figure it out. So finally I said, well, just teach me to crochet. So she tried to teach me how to crochet, couldn't figure it out. At this point, I was undiagnosed ADHD, so I was not focused, and I wasn't on any medication or anything, so I wasn't focused, and I couldn't figure it out, and I got confused, and I just gave up. Fast forward a few years, I tried to knit, and I just couldn't do it. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't figure it out. So my grandma tried teaching me again, and she was very patient, but I just couldn't figure it out. Fast forward to about when I was about 35 or 36 years old, probably about 36. My brother was a fantastic crocheter, is a fantastic crocheter. Sorry, Don. He is a fantastic crocheter. He designs and makes blankets, and they're just beautiful, beautiful blankets and afghans. And I don't know how he designs it and makes it, because it's amazing, his designs. So he just does it for fun. He doesn't sell them, and he doesn't sell the patterns or anything. He just does it for his own fun. And he also makes hats and sells he makes those little zipper pulls. So he makes those, and yeah, anyways, so I asked him to teach me how to crochet. The reason why I wanted to learn how to crochet was I had been going to a mental health clubhouse, which was a place where a bunch of people with mental health issues got together and had coffee and talked and played games, and sometimes we cooked meals together, and it was just a nice, relaxing time. And one of my friends there, we called her the Crochet Queen. She could crochet anything. She was just fantastic. Sorry, my nose is all stuffy. I apologize. And so then I was down visiting my brother once, and I said, can you teach me how to crochet? And he said, sure. So he tried to teach me, but again, I got confused. I learned a little bit, but I got really confused, and he got confused trying to teach me, and it just didn't work out. But he installed the love for crocheting in me. So I went back to the clubhouse, and I said to my friend, I want to learn how to crochet, and this was a few months later. And she taught me, and another lady there taught me as well, and eventually I got it. I think I learned chaining and crocheting, the single crochet from YouTube, but I learned all the other stitches I learned how to double crochet and how to read patterns from these friends at the clubhouse. Oh, I'm so sorry. So, I learned how to do that, and then I used YouTube to learn different stitches and different ways of doing things. And then one day, about a year ago, 10 months ago, a friend passed away, and her husband had some knitting needles and crochet needles and some yarn, crochet hooks, and some yarn. And he says, well, I know you do this, so he gave it to me. And I didn't have the heart to tell him I don't knit. But it was basically knitting needles, and I thought, well, I don't have the heart to tell him that I don't knit, but I took it, and one day I just thought, you know what, I'm going to learn how to knit, doggone it. So I always want to say God done it instead of doggone it. I think I'm a bit dyslexic. Anyways, so I picked up the needles and I turned on YouTube and I learned how to knit. So that's how I started that. Then I found out about knitting podcasts, and I don't even remember how I found out about it. I think I just typed into YouTube knitting, and it came up knitting podcasts as one of the options, and I was like, what is that? So so I wasn't coughing before, but now that I'm talking, I'm starting to cough, so I apologize for that. Anyways, so I found knitting podcasts. I found the Canadian Knitter with Sarah. That was the first knitting podcast I ever watched, and then I watched the Bakery Bears, and then I found a whole bunch more and started enjoying watching them. So that's what happened. So I just realized I did that wrong. Oh no, I didn't. Wait a second. No, I didn't. So yeah, I got into watching podcasts, and then I decided to do one on my own, and that's how it all started. And then I found out about Ravelry, and I thought Ravelry you had to pay for it, so for months I wasn't on it. And then suddenly I saw someone said Ravelry was free, and I'm like, what? So I thought, no way, that can't be true. So I went on Ravelry, and it was free, so I enjoyed that. And so that was fun. I enjoy Ravelry. That's a lot of fun. I enjoy getting the free patterns and the paid patterns, but especially the free patterns. Those are cool. Some of the free patterns are like, why are they free? They're so cool, and they're free. And I'm thinking, man, that is so good. I just love it. Anyways, that's how I started knitting and crocheting. Another question on the tag was, what kind of yarn do you prefer? I like fingering weight. I think it's probably my favorite, but I don't have a particular brand that I like. The only finger weight I've ever used was Knit Picks Stroll, so I don't know any others. So, and I only buy the cheap stuff from like Knit Picks, or there's a place called Yarn Canada that I ordered some yarn from recently, and so I get to see what that kind of yarn's like. But I also like buying from Walmart the worsted weight acrylic, and I like the acrylic from Knit Picks. I'm trying out different yarns right now, but I don't go for the expensive ones because I just can't afford it. You know, $20, $30 a skein, I can't afford that. So I buy the $3 ones and the $4 ones and the $6 ones. So yeah. What is my preferred hook or needle? I think probably 5mm for both, which is a size 8 in needles, and I don't know what letter it is in hooks, but let's see, this is a G, so it'd be an I believe, an H or 9, and yeah, I like those just because it goes with most patterns, I do like crocheting with the big ones as well, like the 15 millimeters and then 12 millimeters. I love those as well. I don't know why, but I do. I love how it looks on yarn. But I usually just go for whatever yarn, whatever it says for that particular yarn or pattern. So that's usually what I use. So, but 5 millimeter, that's pretty well. Pretty well, most everything you use can use 5 millimeters. So, yeah. What are the other questions? What is your favorite project? Currently favorite project. So right now I'm enjoying making this shawl that I'm making right now. It's easy, it's fun, and I think it's beautiful. So I'm enjoying that. My favorite project that I made would probably be the first dishcloth I ever made in knitting, because that was a big step for me, and I really was really proud of myself. I ended up selling it. So, or no, the first dishcloth I made, I sold. The first dishcloth I crocheted, I didn't sell, but I sold a few crocheted ones as well. So, yeah, those are pretty precious to me because they were my first projects. I also made a blanket crocheted a blanket. It was probably my second or third project I ever did. And it was a blanket for my friend's little girl that was born, except we didn't know if it was a girl or boy at the time when she was pregnant. And I made a white blanket for her. I never did give it to her, though. It's still sitting in my bedroom. The little girl is like 5 years old now, so I never did give it to her, but she lives out of town, and I was never able to get it to her, so, and I couldn't afford to mail it to her, so someday I'll give it to them, and they can just keep it for keepsakes, but I was pretty proud of that blanket, because that was all single crochets, and it was thick yarn, and it was just beautiful. I loved it. I loved doing it, and it was just wonderful. Yeah. So what else should I talk about? Have you ever been in a choir or anything? Because I used to sing. I don't sing much anymore because I'm not very good at it. I used to be a fantastic singer. No, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I used to be a really good singer as a child and as a young adult. And I was just thinking about this last night. That's why I'm thinking about it now. I used to be in a choir when I was a kid in our church. It was called King's Kids. And it was a choir that did play like musicals. And I did like 3 musicals with them throughout my childhood. I was from about 10 years old till about 13 or so. And my favorite performance I ever did, ever, was, it was called The Little Christmas Lamb. And I still remember the songs, I remember the characters, I remember who played who. I absolutely loved that little play, that little musical. And, I tried out for the main character, her name was Christy, the main character, and I didn't get it. But at one time, and this is around the time that my tics for my Tourette syndrome were starting to show up, and I didn't know I had Tourette's. So it was a big confidence booster to be involved in these musicals, because when I sang, I didn't do my tics. And I didn't know why, and now I do know why, because you can kind of, anyone with Tourette would know some tics you can kind of stop for a while and then do them later on. As long as you get them out and do them, you can kind of postpone them. Or you could switch them to another tic. So when I sang, I didn't do any of my tics. So it was a wonderful thing for me to sing because I was normal. And back then, I didn't think I was normal because I had these noises and these movements, and I couldn't figure out why I was doing them, and people were making fun of me, and I had people that didn't believe that I wasn't doing them on purpose. I had doctors and principals and teachers and restaurant owners and all those people that were just like, oh, get over it. You can stop, you're just trying to get attention kind of thing. So when I sang, I was normal. So the Little Christmas Lamb, I tried out for the main part, like I said. I didn't get it. Another girl got the part. But one Sunday during practice, the little girl that was playing the main character was sick that day, so she wasn't there. So they asked me to play her part during rehearsal. So I did, and I sang with all my heart and did all the acting, and everybody, and I mean everybody, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but this meant so much to me as a kid, and as a kid with disabilities, it meant so much to me that everybody told me, and I mean everybody, all the students, all my friends, people that used to make fun of me, and teachers, all the leaders of the group, all told me that I should have got the part because I was that good. And the lady who had picked the girl who was actually playing the part came up to me and said, if you had done that good in auditions, you would have got the part. And so that meant a lot to me. I was so happy because the girl who actually got the part was her daughter. So it meant a lot to me for her to say that. So that meant a lot. So that was fun, and I had a solo in that performance, and I enjoyed that, and I had an acting part in that performance. So then we did a Kids Praise one, Salty the Singing Songbook. We did one of those. And I had a little choreography in that one. And a harmony. I sang harmony. So I was really good at harmony. I don't know why, because I never really tried to do harmony, but when they told me to do harmony, I worked at it. I worked hard. I took my job seriously in the singing. I worked hard. I practiced every day for 4 or 5 hours. I was dedicated. And when I was about 22, I was in an adults choir, and we did a performance, an Easter performance. And I remember I was so nervous because I was in a new church, and I was so nervous. I didn't know anybody except for one girl. And it was kind of neat because she kind of took me under her wing. She is a fantastic singer, awesome singer, and ended up the leader of the group got her and me to stand in the front row during rehearsal, and she said, I want you to do and I don't know my singing terms anymore. I used to be in singing lessons. I don't remember them anymore, but I think it was alto, soprano, harmony. Does that make sense? Alto, soprano, something like that. We were the only two in the group that was going to do this part, so we had to sing loudly, and we had to get it right on the right note. So my mom worked with me. She used to be a piano teacher, so she played the part on piano, and I would sing with it, and we would get the notes down packed. And this was like about 2 weeks before the performance. They told me to do this, so I had to learn all new notes, and I had to sing against what everybody else was singing except for this one girl. So it was an honor to do that because, basically because this other girl was such a fantastic singer, and I had so much respect for her. And here the leader asked me to sing with her, and that was just fantastic. And I remember my mom giggling after the performance because one of the performances, because she said one of the ladies that had given me a very hard time in another church that I had gone to before. I had gotten treated really badly because of my Tourette. And one of the ladies that had given me a really hard time was at the performance. And she turned around to my mom and said, "Is that Cheryl? Is that Cheryl singing?" And my mom was like, "Yeah, that's her." And she was so proud of me. So that meant a lot to me. It was kind of like sweet revenge. Yeah, I can sing. I can do ticks and I can sing too. So that meant a lot to me. But I can't sing much anymore. I sing at church, but when I go to church, I don't go to church very often anymore. But when I do go, um, I'm able to sing what part am I on? Oh, there we go. I can sing it with the group, the sanctuary, or the congregation, but I'm not very good at it anymore. I can't hold notes. I used to be able to hold notes no problem, and my voice shakes and it's not very good. But I used to love singing. I was in singing lessons and absolutely loved it. So that's a bit about me. Oh, and then also when I was about, how old was I? I was about 16. I was in an acting performance at our church that I went to, the same church the King's Kids were in. And we did a performance of Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames, which is a performance that a group did. They traveled around the world, and then whatever churches they were at, they got actors from that church and put on this performance, and it was a really beautiful performance. It was about, it would have different people come up in situations acting, and they would, and well, just for an example, this is what I did. So I was a drunken teenager. So I walked up the church aisle with a bunch of kids, 3 other kids, and we were holding empty bottles of beer, and we were singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer, 89 bottles of beer, 2 bottles of beer, and we were just, confused and drunk and everything. And we got to the stage, and then we went in a car, and I was in the front seat thing, and it's just 4 chairs, and we tried to beat a train, and we crashed. So the next scene, it goes dark, and the next scene, we're in where the angel with the book of life is, and we each ask if I was like, "Angel, is my name in that book?" And she would shake her head and point to hell. And then these demons would come out and take me to hell. So, anyways, I remember doing that, and that was so much fun. And one thing one of the demons said, once we were crouched behind hell, which was just a makeshift thing, and he says, "Man, you scream loud," because I had to scream because I was being taken to hell, so I had to scream and fight back, and he had to drag me off, right? He says, "You scream loud," and then he says, "And don't fight back so much, I'm trying to take you." And I said, "Well, do you expect me not to fight back? You're taking me to hell. What do you expect me to do?" So, the next performance, I wasn't allowed to fight back so much. I had to just let him take me to hell. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and a lot of people came to Christ those 3 performances, and we only had about 2 weeks to practice, about a week or so, maybe a week or 2 to practice, and then we got our parts and did it, and then the next week we performed. So that was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed the theater and acting and singing, and that was a lot of fun. That was a big part of my life when I was younger. So not much anymore, but yeah. And when I was 12, I met my best friend, Sabrina. That was fun because I had met her, and we spent all summer that year together, and we've been friends for 29 years now. So that was that was fun. That was, yeah. She's wonderful. She lives in Kelowna now. And she's got 2 kids. She's the one that made the blankets for her first daughter. Not her first daughter, her daughter. And she has a son now, and she's married, and she's always been there for me. She's a wonderful friend, and we were meant to be friends. You know, we clicked right away. I remember when I first met her, I didn't know I had Tourette, but I knew something was wrong. And when I met her, I was sitting in my room doing tics, and finally I said, "Why aren't you saying anything about the tics?" Or not tics, because I didn't know they were called tics. I said, "Why don't you say anything about the noises I'm making?" And she says, "I just figure you're sick or something." And she just went on drinking Diet Coke and started talking again. I was like, okay. So we became instant friends, so that was cool. Anyways, I'm almost done. Another section here in my crocheting. So what else should we talk about? This is fun, actually. I'm enjoying this. I keep thinking, you know, I'm just talking to a camera, but I'm actually talking to you guys, so it's kind of fun. So, I babysat as a lot as a young teenager and kid and young adult. Let me tell you, you haven't babysat until you babysat a boy you haven't babysat until the police show up at your door and say that one of your charges is in trouble. That was fun. He was a 12-year boy, and he got caught stealing some stuff off a boat. And so we had to call the mother, and that was not fun. And then his friends snuck into his room that night, and I had to kick them out, and it was just not fun. It was, but he was a good kid. He had some problems, but he was a good kid, so. And I babysat 2 little girls part-time for a long time. And they would be 27 this year and 24, 25, somewhere in there. So it was a long time ago. But they were 4 and 8 at the time. And they were the cutest kids. They were so much fun. I loved babysitting them. And then one time I got accused of child abuse, which did not happen, but I was babysitting for some kids, and the little boy was being a pain, and he was always a pain. He was kicking me and screaming, and I sent him to bed. He was going to sleep with his sister that night, his little baby sister, who is about 3 years old. And when I left, I was waiting for my parents to pick me up, and the father came running out and said, "What the H is this?" And I'm like, "What?" And he turns around, there's a big clump of hair in his hand. He says, "Why did you cut my baby's hair?" And I'm like, "I didn't cut your baby's hair." And so he says, "I'm going to call the police." I'm like, "You go right ahead. I didn't cut your baby's hair. That was your son. It must have been your son because he was the only one in the room with her." And I was in the living room watching TV, so I didn't cut it. But yeah, it was pretty bad. But they were cute kids too. I love all kids, so. She had 4 kids, and 2 of them I used to babysit after school as well. We got along great, and then the younger 2 we didn't get along very well, but I tried, you know. And they were good kids. They just had problems. But they were good kids. And my niece, my step niece, technically, she came to my life when she was 9 months old, and I met her in the nursery at our church. And then about 6 months later, my brother called me and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm dating her mom." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So, my parents raised her, and it was fun. I enjoyed that. Some people asked me if I got jealous of her being the baby of the family, and then suddenly she was the baby of the family, but I loved it. I always wanted a baby sister, so. So, yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed looking after her and spending time with her. And she'll be 27 this year, so we're still pretty close to her. Where am I at? Here we go. Oh, okay. I got lost in my crocheting, what I'm doing. So, yeah, that was fun. And then I had another niece. She is my brother's biological daughter. And, I enjoyed getting to know her, and she's a wonderful girl. She's 25 now. So, yeah, I feel old. I remember when they were born, and I feel so old. Well, I don't remember when Caitlin was born, because she was my step-niece. She was 9 months when I met her, but yeah, so do you want to look at my shawl so far? So this is what it looks like so far. Like that. Isn't that pretty? I like how it goes light here and then darker here. Isn't that pretty? I love it. And then the yarn goes into even a darker pink right there, so that'll be really pretty. I'm enjoying doing this. It's relaxing, and it's not, on this part, I noticed, on the ridge, it's not particularly straight, but it's pretty good. And then when I block it, it'll be better. I've never blocked before, so I gotta figure out how to block, but I want to block this and make it better. So if you have any ideas on how to block, let me know in the comments below, because I don't know how to block, and I want to learn how to do it. I know that some people have told me just to buy the those big puzzle piece mats that you put together for kids from Walmart kind of thing, and use those as your blocking mat. So I'm going to do that, but I don't even know really how to do it, so I have to find out. But anyways, what time are we at? We're at 42 minutes. So so goals for 2018. I don't really have any real goals for 2018. I plan on crocheting and knitting as much as I can. I'm enjoying doing that. I kind of decide on projects on a whim. I don't like planning projects. So, I do want to make the Find Your Fade shawl someday. Someday. And, I want to make some more shawls, and I want to make a sweater too, and some crochet tops. I want to make some crochet tops as well. I want to make a big Afghan. Probably crochet, maybe knitting, I'm not sure. I want to make a big Afghan. But, you know. I got a phone call. Hold on. Hello, you're on the podcast. Hi, Daddy, you're on the podcast. Oh, all right. No, I'll come. All right, bye. Sorry about that. So, my dad's coming to pick me up, so I better go. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry about the phone call. It was kind of important, and he's planning on coming, so I've got to go. So, thank you so much for knitting and crocheting with me. I hope you had fun, and have a wonderful day. God bless you in all you do. Enjoy your knitting and crafting. Have a good day. Bye.